What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be checking out the Turtles of Greyskull, Leatherhead, Master of Tracking and Trapping. So this was one of my most anticipated figures for this line, and it did not disappoint. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this is your basic standard deluxe figure packaging, and on the top and left hand corner we have artwork of Leatherhead in different poses, and then you have the Turtles of Greyskull in the middle with Leatherhead and Master of Tracking and Trapping at the bottom. And then here is the top of the packaging right here. You got the piping and the rock formation. It's in the purple color. Well, actually, this is in the slime ooze coloration, with highlighted, lots of details and stuff. And then here in the center of the packaging, you got all this piping right down here, and the rocks in that purple coloration. And then with the outlined by the ooze, then it's coming down at the bottom. And then here you got in the center of the window is you got Masters of the Universe X Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logos, and then you got ages 6 and up, that's me, and then you have the Mattel logo here at the bottom. And then here at the bottom right there's all the copyright information stuff. And then here is the side of the packaging with the Turtles of Greyskull and the picture of Leatherhead right here. And then on this you have Turtles of Greyskull, and you have the second picture of Leatherhead. And then here on the back you have the logos of, on the top left and right hand corner you have Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then in the middle you have this wonderful artwork. You got Leatherhead dragging the mutated He-Man along with Bebop and Rocksteady, and then you got Shredder in the background. It's a shame that we didn't get individual figures of Bebop and Rocksteady and then have a deluxe figure of Tubop Steady. That would have been really cool, but I guess they decided not to go that route with it. And so set that down, and then if you want to pause and read that, you may. And then here are the instructions for his accessories. And then you have swap out help for Eternian helmet. And then it says snatch enemies with power trap. And then you got the Mattel logo right there. So let's go ahead and open this box up and take a look at the insert that they have in there. Alright, so upon opening the box, you have to do a little bit of a assembly with the tail. So it just tells you what to do with the tail, because it is disassembled inside the packaging. And then it also tells you how the figure can hold the trap in his hands. Alright, so I did notice that the insert is a little different. It just comes with the actual card back, but it does not have no bottom. So I guess they were trying to cut costs by not having the bottom part. So interesting. And then of course, we have the card right here. It says Turtles of Greyskull, and then you got a picture of Leatherhead right there. And then back here, pretty much the same thing. And then if you want to pause and read this, you can, it tells you the mutagen master powers of Leatherhead, and then from the mutation. And then of course, you've got the little insert that lets you know what's highlighted for swappable parts. And so basically the head, the arms, the waist, and the feet can be taken off. So basically it's got multiple stuff. So you could actually take off the head, the shoulders, and the hands, the waist, and both feet. So that's just a little bit more, because normally it'd just be like just the arms. But Even if they did highlight the hands, I guess I must have missed it on the previous ones. But anyways, so yeah, so that's what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and bring the figure out and take a closer look at it. Right, so we got Leatherhead and his accessories. So let's go ahead and take this off because this is his Eternia helmet, and we'll just go over all this stuff real quick. So we'll save that for last. So this is the Eternia helmet that he comes with in packaging. And so this basically is just an orange piece of plastic. It's got the little spikes here at the top, and then got the little sides here. You know, just nothing fancy, just a little helmet. You know, that's specifically made for this particular world. So it's very cool. And then, of course, you know, can't have Leatherhead without his patented hat. So there it is with a little bit of marks right there. That's just to be able to fit his eyes. You know, just nice detailed. I like the way they have it folded and creased. So that's very cool. It's just a brown piece of plastic. You know, I wish they would have painted that black at least. You know, that little around where the visor is on top. So that would have been really cool. You know, even if they just stopped it right there and painted it black all the way right there, that would have been pretty cool. I wouldn't expect him to get down in there. So, but those are the two options that you can have him wear. If you just want him displayed as actual Leatherhead with this OG hat, or with the Eternian helmet for the Turtles of Greyskull line. And so this is his trapper. It looks really cool. I do like how they made this. Get that translucent trap right there. It's packed with the details. You know. And then I do like the fact that like these are separate pieces, and they didn't have. This is actually this light purplish color. You know, for the actual mechanism and the handle itself, and that this is included as part of this, you know, because sometimes when people do accessories, they just like say F it and paint it all on one side, one color, because this is like a different separate piece. So that's really cool that they did that. So, and then but yeah, nice little detail on the trap itself, the handles, everything. So the mechanism. So of course, you know, you've got this articulation right here. And then you got the movement. You can go up and down with this thing, however you want to set it up. So this is about as far as it goes because it just stops right there. So too bad you can't pop this off and just lay it down like an actual trap. But then again, you know, this is like an actual weapon. So, all right. So that being said, let's bring out Leatherhead. And yeah, this is a great looking figure. And so with the assembly right here is the tail. So it's just a ball joint right there at the peg. And this is the tail is kind of more of a rubbery plastic. So too bad it's not bendy wire. That'd have been really cool if it was. So we'll just leave the tail off right now so we can take a look at everything else. So this is Leatherhead, and I do love the head sculpt. It's got that cartoony like head sculpt. And so basically the skin is like the light green. Can't remember the name of the coloration that you would call this, but I do like the coloration of it. And I like to have that it's highlighted with the yellow spray, you know, all along the jaw, the snout, you know, in the back. So that's cool. And then the eyes, you know, the yellow with the pupil with the little X right there, the line, and then the dot looks like a what you call it, like a T. But that's pretty cool though. I like how they did the pupils. So Great head sculpt right there. That's really cool. And to get the little coloration here, right there. And then, of course, he's got his vest on. And then he's got the gold wrist guards right there. But that's part of the arm. Those don't come off, I don't think. Don't look like a thing that's just molded into the arm. And then you got his loincloth with the light brown loincloth with the gold trim, along with the gold arm bands. And then the legs here, you have kind of a grayish, the fur that's coming out the boots. And then, of course, you got the wrapping around the boots and everything. So you got the gray fur coming out the brown boots. So that's really cool. Glad they did that. And the vest is pretty cool too. So let's go ahead and pop this off and take a closer look at the vest. Alright, so we got him undressed. So he looks funny. Oversized head right there. But, this is your basic standard body. Very muscular. I do like they did the sculpting on this. It's more alligator-esque, trying to get that leather, that texturing of an alligator. And so his arm is a little bit small, it's not as oversized as some of these origins. So basically this body mold is specifically for Leatherhead. The arms do look kind of small. I could be wrong, but when we do some comparisons, we'll take a look at that. But yeah, overall, it's got a kind of a smaller body. That's what it looks like. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So, and then here is his vest. So I'm wondering if you could pop this off. This fur part right here that connects to the vest. I wasn't sure if you were able to take that off and you could just use the vest itself without this. So that could be more of an Eternia type thing. But I guess it's not an option. I guess it's just glued on there, which is fine, If you're a customizer, I'm pretty sure you could take this part off and just use the vest itself and leave the fur part alone. Just kind of switch it up a little bit. So, but anyway, so this vest is more of a brown coloration with the orange designs coloration with the little silver. I do like the fact that they painted that silver, more like teeth, And then, of course, you got the fur right here on the back. So that's very cool. So aside from that, let's go ahead and put his tail back on, put all his stuff on and things like that. Alright, so he's fully dressed now. So let's try out this Eternia helmet. So this is the helmet that he looks like for the Eternia mode. And then the back of it. So that's cool. So you could literally buy two of these, and just have one display with the Eternia mode and then one with the his OG hat on that he's known for. So, and then here is the OG hat. So that's the Leatherhead that we know and love. So let me kind of fix that there. There we go. Yeah. So I'm trying to make it more flush. There we go. So that's the OG hat that we know and love. And so then here is the accessory here. So if you look, it looks like it's going to be a tight grip. Oh yeah, and then this is what I was talking about, the fingernails. I wish they would have painted the nails a little bit. Just give it a little highlight. So, but other than that, that's like literally my only complaint that I have. But I do like the tail. I do like the fact that the tail, you can have the option to take on and off if you want. Just make it more humanized, I guess. without the tail. It'll look funny, but you know, just for a different look, I guess. Alright, so yeah, but you could tell that the way these grips look, it's going to be hard. So let's go ahead and take some time to put his accessory in his hand. Alright, well, that wasn't too bad. You know, fits, snug fit, so you gotta have to kind of slide it in there so he doesn't grip like the other one. So, but he is holding it. It is a snug fit. So, too bad he didn't come with a shotgun. That would have been really cool. So, but yeah, there he is with his trap. So it looks good. So like I said, this was like one of my most anticipated figures when they announced all the figures that came out. Of all of them, this is like one of the top 3 I was really looking forward to, along with the Splinter Skull and the 2 Bob Steady. You know, so really enjoyed this figure. All right, so let's go ahead and do some comparisons. Right, so there he is next to Casey Jones and Raphael. Now he's not like a large figure by any means, but he is he's pretty much a standard Motu. Wish he was a little bit bigger, kind of like probably about big as Slaker. That would have been really cool. All right, so I was talking about the arms. So if you look, you could tell that the arms arm is not as big as the normal origin style figure is. So he's just a tad bit smaller. You know, still muscular, but it's not as large. That's what I was wondering. I was like, it's a little thinner. So the body type is a little bit smaller. So if you take the vest off and everything, like I did previously, you would know and tell that the body type is just a little bit smaller than normal, just a little bit more thinner, just so you can have the how would you say it? The when he has his vest on, to make it a little bit more bulkier, I guess. Kind of like the Turtles, you know, when you take all the accessories off, all the armor and shit, their bodies are really small, but they just made it that small so they could be able to fit the their armor and vest and all that stuff, so it doesn't look so bad or so bulky or whatever I'm trying to say. You get the point. Alright, and then lastly, the final comparison that we have is with the OG Playmates. So came a long way. So happy to have both of them. So alright. And that was a look at Leatherhead, the master of trapping and tracking. And hope y'all enjoyed this review as much as I did filming it. And let me know in the comments below what you think of this Leatherhead. And which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the OG hat or the Eternia helmet? Alright, so don't forget, words to wisdom. Buy what you love and know what you like. Because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.